Good morning. Welcome to the final day of the Intel Extreme Masters at Gamescom. Before we get to our semifinals, we're going to start the day with the 6th and final stop of the ESL Pro Series Cup, which is I think the biggest esports league in Germany. It's been running for 20 seasons, a decade long, and this is the final cup of this season. And so this determines the final 8 placings to move on to the offline finals in Berlin next month. Okay, are you guys ready for that? I'm going to bring 2 players to the stage. Both of them are German, which is like you guys. So please give them a very warm welcome when they get out here. First player to the stage, you probably know him, alternate Socke. And his opponent, ESC Icy Box. He trolled me. GoOdy. Also, very important to know to help build the drama in your minds is that only the top 8 players move on, and Socke is currently in 9th. And the 8th player is a little guy known as Hasuobs, which I think is the reigning champion. If Socke finishes in the top 3 today, he will bump out the reigning champion Hasu and take his place. Are you guys ready? Yeah. Good luck, have fun. Take it away, casters.
What's up? We are here at day 5 of Gamescom. It has been insane. How you doing, my brother?
Oh my God, I'm doing so well, Tasis. I'm excited to finish out this tournament, and I'm actually really excited to get to do a little bit of EPS. I've never gotten to cast this one. I've kept track of it a little bit, and it's exciting. As Jarrett was saying on stage, Socke needs to win one of his 2 matches today. If he does, then Hasuobs is out of the playoffs, and Socke's in it. These guys kind of trade back and forth who wins this league. So this is a big and important day.
Yeah, you know, the German scene, very competitive. It's not one of these countries where you got 1 or 2 good players and that's it. In fact, you got quite a big amount. Even going back to the old school days of people like Fisheye to now with players like GoOdy and Socke. I don't know what to expect out of this game. Socke, by the way, a very intelligent player, very adroit handling of difficult situations. At the same time, GoOdy, this guy turtles like crazy.
Well, you know, GoOdy, he's undergone some transformations in his style as well. It'll be exciting to see what he can do. He actually pulls out wins that you wouldn't expect he would. Like, he's oftentimes the underdog, but he has a wealth of experience. This guy has played Starcraft 1 professionally for a very long time, and now Starcraft 2. He's one of the biggest badasses in the German scene in Europe, wins a ton of cups, is always qualifying for everything, finishes deep at tournaments all around the world, to be honest. But, you know, as I just said, he's oftentimes the underdog. Socke is kind of legendary here. Yeah,
I would say Socke tends to overshadow players like GoOdy, but, you know, if you're a European guy or especially a German guy, you're going to know who GoOdy is. He definitely has his own way of approaching the game. Tends to make for some longer games than others. Tends to be one of these defensive guys that kind of waits for you to step into his boundaries, and from there he messes you up. Socke, how would you describe Martosen?
Socke is, in my opinion, one of the smartest pro gamers outside of Korea. He's really, really intelligent, has a deep understanding of the game, the fundamentals of it, and what is correct to do. You know, he's one of my favorite players, basically, to watch, Tasteless, and I'm just excited for that because, you know, he didn't do that well in Intel Extreme Masters, so it's good to have some Protoss back.
It definitely is, man. We saw Protoss get dominated here at Intel Extreme Masters. Kind of sucks for us since we both play Protoss. No build orders I can really steal from this tournament beyond MC's Carrier Rush. But, no, back to this tournament here. Socke, so talented. Does GoOdy have a chance?
Yeah, GoOdy is someone that can and does beat anybody time to time. He's always finishing high up, but I feel like, you know, Socke is a league above him.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you on that level. You know, what is our map, Artosis?
Our first map will be Daybreak. And
Daybreak.
Yeah. And then we're going to go Cloud Kingdom and then Entombed Valley. pretty cool map set, and I think it's pretty good overall for Socke as well. But let's take a look at this bracket. As we saw, it's going to be Daisy versus Real next. And right now, of course, GoOdy versus Socke.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting. Again, this is day 5 of Gamescom. It has been so insane down here. This is my first Gamescom. I did not truly understand how big it was until I got down here and experienced it.
The doors just opened, and we're almost full of seats. So
yeah, it was pretty insane.
Yeah.
So many people stacked up outside the convention hall. We got a chance to come down here on day number 1 and play all the games, kind of a press thing where not that many people here.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I have so many games I want to get. It's just been awesome, man. Yeah. So I'm going to be broken a little bit here with all the money I'm going to spend with these new games that are coming out. But enough of that. On to this game in the bottom center starting location. We have our Protoss, Socke. It is early here in the morning, but we still have a lot of people here at the tournament center. Good to hear you guys cheering. Thank you for coming up so early in the morning. And in the upper right, we got our Turtley Terran. Give it up for GoOdy. So, Daybreak, it's a one-on-one map. It's one of these maps that really makes for some long, solid games.
Yeah. And, you know, it's such a long map that Protoss kind of likes that. You know, they like to be far away from Terran so that when Terran's trying to get aggressive, it takes longer to get over there. Protoss can maybe get that extra round of units out, have longer to scout it, and just feel more safe. Also, of course, medevacs take longer to get across it. I would say just overall in this map pool, if I was Socke, I'd look at it and say, oh, you know what, this is a fine map pool to play against GoOdy on.
Well, looks like he's going to scout after Gateway. Very standard stuff here from Socke. He will be headed over to the upper right to check out and see what exactly GoOdy's doing.
Yep. And, you know, it's interesting. GoOdy was known for so long for meching. And at this point, he's actually switched over a little bit. He's decided, you know what, I don't really like it that much. It's not working out like I want it to. And now he's actually a pretty aggressive bio player. And he has some interesting strats that I see from him where, you know, he'll do things like hide a command center or hit an awkward timing for Protoss with a lot of Vikings mixed into it. And the thing is, he will kill you when it really looks like, oh, wow, you know, his opponent has a lead right now, and then he just walks over, hits a nice stim timing or something. You're just not quite ready.
It's funny, too, because back in a DreamHack, as you remember, my God, this guy turtled like crazy.
Oh, yeah, he would just turtle forever, man. And he actually would slow tournaments down. When GoOdy was coming to your tournament like a year ago, you'd have to plan it different because the rounds would take longer with him in it.
Literally.
This is not a joke. This is not a joke.
I know we're pretty sarcastic sometimes, but this is actually true. GoOdy. I think I met GoOdy for the first time. I believe it was in Italy.
Yeah, that's the first time I met him too, I think.
That was our first international trip. I was casting and you were playing.
That was our first one together, yeah.
Yeah, as a team. Here we are now. No, but I remember meeting him. He's a very smart guy, very talented. And it's cool to see that, you know, you have somebody from Starcraft 2 back then still playing now.
Yeah, it totally is. He was always a contender in Germany back then. You know, he's always like one of these names that Mondragon had to kill before he won Germany in WCG.
Such a smart guy.
Yeah.
Does Mondragon play Starcraft 2 now?
He's played it off and on, to be honest. He was on Team Acer, I believe, for a little bit, but you know, he's a guy that really focuses heavily on his studies. I'm not sure if he's coaching or playing or just part-time right now.
So funny. I remember those days back then. It's funny to see actually a lot of the German StarCraft 1 guys here in StarCraft 2 in general. They got a really, really rich esports culture out here. Considering it's not Korea, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, now, it's been one of the biggest in the world for a long time.
Yeah, I feel like it's, what is it, Germany, probably Sweden, Korea.
Yeah.
And then Taiwan.
Taiwan.
Yeah.
China actually has a really good scene that no one hears about.
Well, I feel like China is comparable to America, where it's a big enough country that no matter what, it's going to have a good amount of people there.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, we do have Socke actually sneaking up and checking out what's going on with his Stalker. He actually got to run up by that bunker and see the command center. So he realizes that there's no shenanigans going on by GoOdy, who, by the way, is just playing as standard as you can for opening with Bio.
So he's parked out here. He wants to make sure that no SCVs are going to leave. As you can see, he's covered the vision area very well.
In the meantime, Socke is just expanding, going up to 3 gates, all completely normal and standard. Has his second gas. Probably a Robo is going to come up next. I would really, really expect that, especially against GoOdy. I feel like opening Colossus is probably the best choice.
Why is that?
Well, GoOdy likes nowadays to get aggressive early on. You know, he's going to push out with some medevacs, no doubt about it. You know, he'll get some Marines, some Marauders, push out, start to get aggressive, and do whatever he can to deal damage to Socke. And while, yeah, you can stop that with gateway units and Twilight Tech and things like that, if you go straight to Colossus, 100% you're stopping it. It is not really going to deal damage. As long as you zone out the areas in your base correctly so that drops can't catch you off guard, there's no way for them to kill you or really even hurt you. So I would say that's the best choice in this scenario. And in fact, Socke just put up his Robo and then 2 gases right after, and that's exactly what that means. He's going up to Colossus.
eBay, not 2, but 1, excuse me. It looks like we may be having a third taken pretty soon here. And how many gases do we have? We have 3. Now, meanwhile, at the Protoss base, all 4 gases have been acquired. Observer on the way. Now, do we have we don't have a robotics support bay just yet. Is he going to get an Immortal and then get a Colossus? Is there a chance he might just skip Colossus entirely?
I would say no. You know, getting those 2 gases at that timing when you have a Robo always means Colossus. And in fact, he just threw down his robotics support bay. Not surprised at all to see it. I mean, it's going to be good stylistically against GoOdy, as mentioned before. And with all that gas, there's not much else you can do right now.
As you can see here, both players kind of macroing up. The factory's going to be swapped with the starport to crank out medevacs, and when he spots the first Colossus, that's when you transition into just making Vikings. Now, as you can see here, we got +1 attack, combat shields and stim on the way. Meanwhile, 2 forges being made here. I believe they're right here. Yes, they are.
Yeah, so Socke is actually going to be in turtle mode. Now, just looking at what's going on and knowing what I know from the games that I've watched of GoOdy's, the mistake that Socke could make here is expanding a little bit too quickly. You know, GoOdy will start to get aggressive, but with 2 forges and going Colossus, he won't have a big gateway army. And so GoOdy might be able to deal some damage if Socke is a little bit too greedy. But if he just chills for a little bit, you know, gets up to those 3 Colossus, starts to transition, takes his expansion at that point, he'll be a lot safer.
All right, 2 more racks being thrown down here. I thought it was going to be a sooner third. I was completely wrong.
Yeah.
And so far, both these guys are macroing very well. 2 more medevacs on the way. We do see Colossus range is being upgraded over here. So important against those infantry units. And another 2 gateways on the way as well here for Socke.
Yeah, just very standard from him. This is what he can support right now. We'll have to watch for the Twilight Council timing to see if he's going to line up 2-2 perfectly. I believe he will. And he sees everything moving out, so he should be ready for this.
All right, he's coming out now. Now, we have seen players do 2 base drops. I don't think it's as good. You know, where basically they pick up, they drop in the main, they attack the front. Generally not as good as if they have a 3rd base over here. The Protoss is generally spread a little bit too thin. But we'll see. It looks like GoOdy actually, instead of just scanning, scouting to see if he can kill that 3rd. No 3rd there to kill.
Yeah.
And the game will move on.
And, you know, that's what we mentioned before, is if he had taken that 3rd, that would have been hard. GoOdy knew to go right there, check, see if he's being too greedy. He's not, of course. So at this point, GoOdy might start to try to do like some double-pronged harassment, push up towards the front to draw units out and drop in the main. He does have those 4 medevacs, so wouldn't be a bad choice.
All right.
And here we go. Actually, some force fields going out. Really nice
good
force
field, considering the number of zealots. Coming here now, he's going to have to retreat. Potentially pick up and just leave here. Now the force fields getting in the way a little bit until the Colossi step on them. Yep. And GoOdy's going to be forced back. GoOdy with a slight supply lead, about 10 ahead of his opponent.
Yeah, and he did make his 3rd command center during all this. So even though he lost some units there, it's not the biggest deal in the whole world. But Socke will feel very comfortable, and I'm sure he's going to go ahead and expand now. After killing a few units like that, you feel completely fine to make another Nexus.
And very smart move here by GoOdy. Look, you don't even need this factory. Yeah. You're not going to make bio units. You might as well land it here. Buy a little bit of time and make that Nexus a little bit later.
Well, right now, Socke is getting a Warp Prism. Looks like he wants to try to draw GoOdy away a little bit, and that's a good choice as well. If he can just make GoOdy stay away from him for an extra, let's say, minute with the Warp Prism, it's just completely worth it, because by that point, you know, he's going to have 2-2 done, he's going to have his charge done, he's going to have a lot more units as well, so that the next attack is not going to be as fearsome.
So the Warp Prism's out. Let's see the waypoint here. It looks as though he will be using it to harass, which means this army will probably be coming out to the front. The harass is only good if you have something to draw the Terran's attention away. What are your thoughts here of GoOdy taking this expansion over here in the front rather than this one over here at Tosis? And also, how do you think that's going to influence the way this drop engages the Terran?
Well, you know, I don't think it'll alter the drop all that much, this one in particular, but I like that expansion out there on this version of Daybreak where you have all the extra minerals. It's a lot better at zoning out Protoss and where he is. It makes your fourth base a lot easier to take as well. But here we go. The Warping is beginning. Unfortunately for Socke, there is a Viking there, but this is drawing all his units back. GoOdy just turned around.
The Zealots hitting the SCVs and the Marines. Now, you can see, this is one of the problems when you have large groups of units hockeyed. Actually, a very bizarre number of units stem there. Coming up here to try to save the day. Now, I believe, was the Warp Prism killed?
Yeah, he got it with the
Vikings. He did get it, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So the Warp Prism's taken out. Essentially, that harass was a failure. By the way, GoOdy with a substantial supply lead here.
Yeah, he is definitely, you know, up in supply a little bit. But I would say for Socke, I am not disappointed with that. Even though, yeah, it didn't do damage. GoOdy wanted to move out a little bit earlier, but he pulled him back into his base, and now Socke is a little bit more solid. You know, he's mixing some Archons, he's getting more Zealots, his 2-2 is finished, and he's even mixing in some Immortals now against a player who hasn't gone Ghost yet. So Socke has a pretty good army, he just has to be careful. You can't really engage out in the open where this might actually occur.
All right, he needs to fan out these units here, get in a good position. And we're going to have an engagement.
Uh-oh, we got to be careful for Socke here. Some decent force fields going down, but actually there's a little hole, so the Zealots not doing the job they should be doing. The Vikings targeting down the Colossi oh so quickly, and it's looking like GoOdy is in a pretty good spot with only Stalkers left to fight. He lands his Vikings, and GoOdy totally pushing back Socke right now.
GoOdy's so dominant. Insta-lands those Vikings here. Pushing forward now. A scan over here. I don't know if Socke is prepared. The supply is already pretty scary, but the unit mixture is scary as well. He will get the Robo. Goodbye. And now closing in here into the Protoss's base. This could be bad news here for Socke.
Yeah, this is a lot of trouble he's in now, and even if he holds this off, losing some probes, losing all of his splash damage, this is a tough spot to be in. In the meantime, GoOdy is just macroing like a beast. His supply lead continues to grow.
Closing in here. Doing a ton. Nice cancels those Warping and Zealots. Now the Zealots coming in here are the ones that remain attacking the Marauders, but nice kiting here by GoOdy. GoOdy stims again to come in for another attack, hitting the Nexus. It could be sniped in a few moments if Socke can't get enough units over here.
That's right, and he's just hemorrhaging Zealots right now. He's trying to hold him back, but this is too many units. We might actually see a GG coming up pretty quickly here.
Yeah, he's on the edge of the cliff here.
Yeah,
yeah, I think you're right. This could end right now. He's going to lose the Nexus, and I think this is one of those moments where the Terran does not have to pull back and regroup. You can actually just close it and kill.
Yeah, you can just keep microing at this point. There's really no way to fall behind here, so he's going to continue to do so. In the meantime, Socke is like trying to send a couple Zealots out here and there, but it's not going to do anything. The Archon's coming up just way too much, and GG. GoOdy taking game number 1 against Socke. You know, that game was actually, I felt like that game was super well played by both sides until the engagement out in the open Tasis. I mean, Socke, that was the one place he should not have engaged. He allowed there to be an arc for GoOdy. You don't want to, I mean, he was spreading as if he was this maxed out Protoss against a Terran with, you know, maybe not the best army in the whole world. He should have pulled back and forced GoOdy into more of a tight choke point. That was, his force fields didn't quite do it. He didn't have the Zealot count that he needed, and not enough splash damage. That was really where Socke lost.
You know what really struck me was that engagement before it got out of control. Why was he doing that on the low ground?
Yeah, exactly.
He had that location on the ramp with the rocks there. He could mosey up there,
and
park himself, and defend. And you know what? Even if the Terran goes around, use that Nexus as part of the wall. Go behind that with the Colossus and play it from there.
You're so right, Tasis. That is how it should have gone down. Everything else Socke did, I felt, was completely textbook great stuff. I liked every other piece of his play, but one bad engagement in Protoss versus Terran, and everything can fall apart.
Well, we're going to go on to Cloud Kingdom. Do you expect anything different, Artosis?
You know what? I think this is going to be kind of standard again. The last time I saw GoOdy play a Terran versus Protoss on Cloud Kingdom, he definitely took a quicker third than we saw this game. Not too much quicker, but he has kind of this funny style that some European Terrans do, where the third base, if they take it quicker, becomes a planetary, so they can be even more aggressive and not get harassed at all. So we'll see if he does something like that. It's definitely interesting and something I want to see more of to see. Really, is this good to skip that additional mule?
Yeah, it's a tough call. You're basically giving up position, or giving up economy, I should say, to get position. Mm-hmm. And is that good in StarCraft 2? Maybe on some maps. We don't really see it that much. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm really curious about that as well. It looks like both players are ready, so we're going to get this game going pretty quickly here. Artosis, your predictions?
Look, I think that Socke can come back and tie up this series. As far as the series win, it's hard to say. That was kind of a big mistake there by Socke, but both players are playing very well.
Yeah, you're absolutely right here. Cloud Kingdom again, our map, 1-on-1 map. Socke looking pretty unmoved here from that last loss, not stressed out. Seems to be emotionally pretty neutral here. And we're going to go ahead and throw it into the game here. So let's do this. In the upper right, our German player, 1 of 2, down 1 game. He needs your love. Give it up for Socke. And in the lower left, we have our Terran player playing very well, very aggressively. Give it up for GoOdy. It's so cool to be down here and have this audience. Day number 1 of us coming down here, we actually weren't cast, and I guess until day number 2. So I guess technically, day number 2, we had such a dull audience for the day that we cast it the first time. I was a little bit worried, but guys, it's so great to have you guys down here so early in the morning. Thank you guys for coming in.
Yeah,
it's a treat to be down here in Germany. You guys have great people and great beer. Please bring us back.
And for anyone just joining us, whether they're in the audience or elsewhere on the internet, and thinking, whoa, this is a TVP. I thought there was just Zergs and Terrans left in the Intel Extreme Masters. Guys, this is the round of 4 of the last qualifier to the EPS finals. EPS, it's this great league in Germany. It's been going on for years and years and years. And this day will end the rankings. If Socke can win one of his 2 matches today, if he can basically not get 4th out of the 4 players remaining, he will be in and Hasselhoffs will be out. These are the 2 guys that win the most. So this is like a really big, important cup that we're watching.
Yeah, this tournament here is actually legendary. It is so old school. It's funny to see tournaments from this long ago now here in StarCraft too.
Yeah, it's great to see too. EPS really helps to support the German scene, and in fact, sometimes we have non-German players moving into Germany and participating as well.
Well, look at this, Artosis. Just 1 probe mining gas. What are your thoughts? Normally we see, well, not normally, occasionally I should say, we see 2.
Well,
1 mining gas with an Nexus coming up here.
It's fine. It's just a little variation that we sometimes see. Some pro gamers like to get that Nexus up a little bit quicker, and you can notice that he scouted really quick with the probe, so he was checking to make sure he'd be fine. Because, for instance, if GoOdy had gone 2 barracks and just sent some SCVs with Marines, 100% Socke is going to die. Going for this, the gas and then the Nexus before core. But as is, he was completely fine doing it. It's just going to be a little bit slower soccer, but nothing here really matters. These guys are just both expanding as quickly as they can.
So we're going into the macro game here. Cybernetics core in the way. When that finishes up, we're going to know exactly what the Protoss is up to. Protoss does have a lot of options. I would actually say more options than Terran as far as unit composition goes. Terran does have a lot of different strategies they can use, but it's always with the same units.
You know what? That's a really interesting and good way to put it. There's not that many compositions that are common. I mean, there's many all-in compositions, but for a real game, there's I guess some players still use a little bit of mech, but that's very, very uncommon. It's mostly just the Marine Marauder medevac with, you know, Vikings and Ghosts when you need them. And then occasionally we've seen pop up a little bit lately, Siege Tank Marine against players that don't go Colossus first. But yeah, that's so true, Tasteless.
As you guys can see here, we now have all the probes on the gas, so it's going to normalize a little bit. And we got a Stalker out here doing a little bit of scouting. He's going to go ahead and go to the Zelnaga Watchtower. Just control that. Or not. Okay, now he is.
All right. So, GoOdy just very standard, just like last game. You know, he's got his 3 Raxes up. He's getting his double gas. For sure, he's going to get some medevacs and start to move out. That's just the way that GoOdy likes to play it. Socke, on the other hand, I actually expect the same thing out of him as last game. A robo and then his double gas going up. So we'll see that in a second as he just started gates 2 and 3.
Gas now being taken here at the expansion. So he's going to be on 3 gas pretty soon here. And we should be seeing a robo pretty quickly here. Socke probably going to do the same build as game number 1.
You know, it is a bit peculiar, though, that he got that 3rd gas before the robo. That's kind of interesting. We'll see what he wants to actually do with that. Will he throw up a couple forges? I think so.
Can't see what else he would do, actually. A warp gate done, and now the warp gate is going to be underway. Again, this build order from Socke, with the exception of the slightly earlier 3rd gas. Very, very standard stuff. Yeah. So, you know, it should be you know, a pretty standard PVT here early on. Few sentries over here at the front. Meanwhile, for the Terrans, some Marines and a bunker. And let's see here, factory. And right after that, the starport will probably be positioned around over here for the medevacs.
Yeah, for sure. And, of course, that's a nice position. It can rally out just a little bit quicker. Now, you know, it's such a standard copy of the game before. We got to see, will GoOdy lose those early units that he lost last game against Socke, where Socke was like, oh, okay, I can absolutely take this 3rd now. And will GoOdy actually try some drops this time? Because last game, did he drop one time? I don't think he did. Yeah, he was just walking around the map with his units.
He just stayed in the center of the map. It was actually Socke who went for the harass last game. Which failed, by the way.
But this is a good map for drops. I mean, the main base is kind of big and open. You can definitely sneak in a medevac here and there, like up in this area. So we'll see if GoOdy can get some early damage in. Because last time, even though he ended up winning the game, he got 0 early damage. It was literally 1 fight that ended it.
And we got another observer coming out here. We don't have a robotic support bay, do we?
No, we do not.
So
have
this
that
is this is where it branches out.
Yeah, he's switching it up, and this explains the speed of that 3rd gas a little bit better. He's getting a Twilight and adding the gates. So he's actually using the robo at this moment just for observers, and in fact, even going up to a 3rd, which I got to say, I love it when Protoss get, you know, at least 3 observers.
Yeah, all too often we see Protoss is getting 1 observer, and then it gets shot down, and they're going Colossus, so they're stuck. So this is definitely a little bit of a safer way for Socke to approach this game. It seems like in that last game he thought he had more than he actually did. And when the engagement went down, he suddenly realized, oh my God, why am I out in the open? I'm getting run over. Big mistake here. Yep. So with this observer here, as you can see, he's going to have a great idea of exactly what the Terran has, as long as those observers don't get scanned and killed.
Well, GoOdy is moving out. We do have Charge, a Photon Cannon, and Templar Archives on the way, so Socke not planning to go Colossus for a very long time. That's going to make holding this harder, but if he micros right, he definitely can.
Right, Marauders and Marines and medevacs coming up here. A scan, a survey, how many sentries exactly are there? This is actually a really good timing by GoOdy.
And here we go. Nice force fields coming out. Those Zealots trapping quite a few, but a lot of them do end up running away. Good job there, but backs up the Zealots. Nice micro by Socke, holding on tight for now.
And the Stalkers and Zealots are going to here again.
I didn't like those force fields quite as much. Should have trapped a little bit more, but GoOdy a little bit too quick there, running back.
There might not be enough Zealots here. He's going to try to warp it some more. They're there to be the sponge for the damage. GoOdy being pushed back, or excuse me, Socke being pushed back, and GoOdy now closing in. 4 Zealots warped into the back, but a lot of damage being given here. by GoOdy to Socke, 108-275 supply.
And it looks like Socke will be able to just barely does end up cleaning this up, but GoOdy definitely took a lead there. Uh-oh. that was a little trap right there.
Yeah.
But Charge is about to finish, and as Charge finishes, this little Podunk army is going to have to go home.
You know, GoOdy almost making this look easy.
Yeah, you know, that's why I was talking in the first game about how I feel like a Colossus opening is the best against GoOdy, because that exact attack is going to happen every single time. And it's a powerful timing against someone who's going Twilight, especially when it's a safe Twilight with 3 observers out before it. So, you know, obviously we see that he wanted to change it up a little bit. But, I mean, he took a lot of damage because of that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Oaks, we're going to switch to your computer, Artosis.
Yeah, there seems to be a little bit of a screen lag going on, but mine has that as well.
Looks like the third base is under attack here. Going to be canceled.
Oh, here, go ahead and log out of that, Tasteless.
All right, here, Artosis.
Yeah, you got to quit that game.
All right, here, I'm going to get out of this game. Give me 1 second. Oh, wait. It's gone away now.
Okay.
Come back onto the game screen. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties.
Okay. So
anyways, onto this game. We got an engagement going on here. And the Archon being gunned down.
And
Immortal 2.
This is too much, man. Storm is not quite done. He has a High Templar. It's not going to do anything, though. Zealot's all charging forward. But GoOdy has so many medevacs and so many units that it looks like he might be 2-0 in Socke. In fact, we should be seeing GG in just a moment.
You know, GoOdy, he knows when to kite and when to hold his ground. GoOdy 2-0 in Socke. It's a pretty dominant game. GoOdy playing very well.
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward game. Almost not too much to analyze there.
No, there's not all that much. I mean, he went and attacked, and the force fields were not 100% perfect. So GoOdy got to out-micro just a little bit there, and Socke just could not quite hold on. So that's going to be a little bit upsetting for Socke, but Hasuobs, I'm sure, is pumping his fist somewhere, because if Socke doesn't win his next match, Hasuobs goes on to the EPS finals, whereas Socke does not quite qualify.
Socke in a tough position here. Again, those games not incredibly complex. And, you know, it's one of those situations where basically the Terran was just controlling a little bit better than the Protoss was.
Yeah.
I do want to point out, GoOdy does know when to run and when to hold his ground. He can see the situation where, okay, I've got enough medevacs. I don't need to kite anymore, because when I'm kiting, it's a little bit less damage.
Well, you know, GoOdy has his strengths and his weaknesses, but one thing he definitely is not weak in is experience. You can tell that in his play, because so many of his decisions, you know, whether he hits his macro or not, whether he micros correctly or not, he oftentimes makes the right choice. Like, oh, at this point in this game, depending upon what happened, this is the right choice to do.
All right, we're going to go ahead and have an interview here with GoOdy, the champion of the series. Jarrett, take it away.
I'm with the winner, ESC GoOdy, who took some time off of his black metal band to play some Starcraft 2. Well won, good games. Now you're on to the finals. Who would you rather face?
In the other semifinal, my teammate Daisy is playing, so I hope he wins, and then we can play a good final.
Great. Well, good luck in the final. That'll come up soon. And play well. Good game. See you soon.